Hello, Trump Take 5 here. Sunday edition, there's not much new to talk about, so we'll talk about some things that happened behind the scenes in the Trump administration. Really, the only thing he did yesterday was tweet out about Hillary Clinton. He wrote, "Crooked Hillary Clinton is the worst and biggest loser of all time. She just can't stop, which is so good for the Republican Party. Hillary, get on with your life and give it another try in 3 years." This was in response to her saying that there was many strange things going on with the election. Not really big news, though. Then the only other thing he really did was retweet some right-leaning journalists who gave him props for walking back his decision to allow elephant trophies to be imported from Africa. Policy-wise, his administration made some moves that you probably didn't hear much news about. The Department of Justice took another shot at sanctuary cities. They ran into trouble. They haven't been able to get their way as far as withholding federal funds from these cities. And Sessions issued a new statement that they said that they had to be in compliance of any violations by December 8th, or they would do the same thing they've been trying to do. The National Park Service issued a rule in 2015, which basically banned big game hunting on 20 million acres in Alaska in the National Reserves there. This week, the National Park Service announced that they'll be doing a review of the rule, which may open the door for big game hunting and different rules and regulations related to those previously protected lands. The Environmental Protection Agency in 2015 had issued the Waters of the United States rule, which has been known as WOTUS. This was a far-reaching plan to limit pollution on America's wetlands. And now the EPA issued a proposed rule to repeal WOTUS. This week, the EPA announced that they would delay the effective date of WOTUS for 2 years, giving that time for it to reach the Supreme Court and basically killing it. Can't imagine that it will, if nothing else, it doesn't get implemented now, and in 2 years' time, it can actually be overturned before it ever goes into effect. One of the big things that happened as well was the FCC overhauled the Lifeline program. This was a program that was mischaracterized by conservative media, saying that Obama wanted to give out free phones to poor people. They were called Obama phones. This was actually a plan that was put into place by George W. Bush, not President Obama. It was actually put into place and expanded from landlines to cell phones by him, and it subsidizes broadband and cell phone service for people who have low income. And the big news is obviously tax reform. Now that people have seen the plans of both the House and the Senate, it's pretty clear what they are trying to do. They're trying to distribute the wealth up top even more. Initial tax breaks that will benefit the middle class and lower income families will sunset by 8 years. That means that they'll expire, but tax cuts given to corporations are permanent. And it's really backward ass. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. Corporations are cash rich right now. They're experiencing record profits. And anytime that this has happened in the past, they have never transferred any savings through taxation to wages. What's a lot more likely to happen is the people and the corporations themselves will take that money and do stock buybacks and increase the wealth of the wealthy. So it's a bad situation. There's very little to actually stop it at this point. But from all objective sources, this is a bad deal for the American people. So don't believe anything that you hear that indicates that this will benefit your family or the country in general. We're talking 1.5 trillion in deficit over 10 years, which means 150 billion going out. And just to drive that home, I was reading in Fortune magazine, they were calling this the largest wealth grab in history, in modern history, and they pointed out what 150 billion could buy for the government. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities calculated that they could double Pell Grants for low and middle income college students, provide childcare assistance to 6 million children, provide opioid addiction treatment to 300,000 people, and they could train 3.5 million workers for in-demand jobs combined with that money. And instead of doing that, the current administration and current Senate and House are wanting to give that to wealthy corporations and individuals. So that is the big problem this week. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe and share the video, share the idea. Help your friends fight Trump fatigue and still know what's going on. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.